Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to the Disney Plus project. So Anna was supposed to be here this time, but things ended up falling apart and she had to go help her mother with some stuff in the yard. So she did not get to be here, does not get to be here for this video, but that's okay. I would also be recording this outside, except it is nice and rainy and not conducive to recording outside. So you get me in here. So this week, instead of Hostel Planet that I'm supposed to watch with Anna, I instead watched a different National Geographic show, you could call it. It's like a 3-part miniseries is what it is. But I watched the first part, most of the first part, I didn't quite finish it, of Japan Between Earth and Sky. Now, I wanted to watch this one because I kind of came across it as I was scrolling through Disney Plus and kind of trying to find something that I wanted to watch. And as I was scrolling through, I found this one. And I was immediately really fascinated because, one, I love Japan, I love the culture, I love, the country, I love the landscapes, and I love just everything about it. And I mean, Japanese is the language that I'm learning right now. So obviously I love Japan. And so it just immediately fascinated me. And I read kind of the description of it, and it was kind of talking about how it's it's an aerial view, or an aerial kind of narratory story thing of Japan. And it kind of talks about some of the not necessarily some of the history, a little bit of the history, but just kind of talks about what each area is and stuff like that. So the first part was talking about Hokkaido, the island of Hokkaido, which is the furthest north. And it was kind of talking about some of the landscape there and some of the volcanoes that are over there and some of the wildlife, like the cranes and different things. So it was really, really fascinating for me. And also, it was incredibly beautiful. Just the way that it's shot, and also just the landscape of Japan itself is it's absolutely gorgeous. And I really, really enjoy this, and I am definitely going to finish it. Finish all 3 episodes that they have, because it is just super fascinating to me, and it is so gorgeous and it's so well shot. For me, this is a really good show for somebody who wants to learn about another culture besides their own. It's really, really well done, because it does, at least as far as the first episode is concerned, it does kind of go into, at one point, just in the last little bit that I was watching, it was talking about the fish market in Sapporo. Yeah, Sapporo, which is the kind of the capital city of the island of Hokkaido. And this market in Sapporo, it's really, really big, and it opens at 6 in the morning, and it's like an auction. Actually, as I was watching it, these guys were writing the amount that they were, that they wanted to pay on their little boards, and then showing it, and then they would change and they would write another amount, and so it was a straight up auction. But it was an auction for fish in this market. It was most of what it was, at least the part that I was watching was still just talking about the fish. And it was just really a fascinating thing to learn about their culture, about the Japanese culture, at least the culture of Hokkaido, because that's something that I didn't know. I didn't know that there was a market in Sapporo that actually worked that way. But yeah, it was just a really, really fascinating show to watch. If you ever get a chance to watch Japan Between Earth and Sky, do it. It is really, really good. There was one thing that kind of made me laugh, was listening to the narrator, how he would pronounce some of the Japanese words, because obviously the narrator wasn't Japanese at all. I think he was American, if I remember correctly. The accent, at least the accent that he used, was American. And so listening to this American guy try to pronounce some of these Japanese words that he had obviously would not have had any idea what they were until going in to record this show, was just kind of funny for me. He pronounced some of them correctly, but there were some of them that just the way that he mispronounced them was so very typically American. It's how I always would have pronounced those words until I started learning Japanese. And so I don't know. For me, it was just kind of fun to listen to. And there, like, I don't have anything bad to say about this show. Like, even with the narrator messing up some pronunciations and pronouncing some words, even in English, just different than what I'm used to, than what I would pronounce them, and different than I'm used to. Like, there's nothing bad about this show. It is a really good show. And again, if you're a person that is interested in in learning about other cultures and about other places, like the geography of other places, of other countries, this is a good one for Japan. I don't know if there's other ones about other countries. I would assume that there's at least a couple of them, but I don't know for sure. So the bottom line for me is this was a really good show. Like, this is definitely one that's worth watching, and worth watching all the way through. It is really, really good, really, really well done. And it's solidified in my head that National Geographic is actually like a treasure trove of just really good shows, really good content that we don't normally watch, because I mean, it's National Geographic's a lot of times where most people are just like, oh, it's just some, you know, cheesy nature show. But it's actually not. It's actually really, really well done, and like feels like it could be something that was made, like say Disney's Born in China, which might be another one that I watch sometime. But like Disney's Born in China, where it was like an actual quote-unquote blockbuster film, like it was put in theaters. Like the National Geographic stuff, a couple of them that I've watched feel like that. They could have been those like full, you know, feature-length movies that were then put into theaters. Like, they're that good. So I'm gonna end up watching a lot more of those, because it's definitely worth it. So, but yeah, I figured I'd keep it kind of short today, since I kind of had this dropped on me last minute, since Anna had to go and take care of some stuff. So that's kind of my thoughts on Japan Between Earth and Sky. So thank you all for joining me this week. Hopefully I will see you all again next week, and hopefully Anna will be here next week. The plan is to do Hostile Planet next week with Anna, so barring anything happening like it did this week, then Anna should be here next time for the Disney Plus project. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a comment and drop a like down below. And as always, don't forget to thank the Phoenicians.